Yes, yes, y'all. Islam. Today we're gonna talk about the U.S. Corporate fraud European that's occupying America. Now you need to keep in mind that these people are organized criminals. Islam. Now, we're going to talk about who these people really are. All right, these Europeans that everybody keep calling a white man. You need to stop calling him a white man. And as long as you keep calling him that, he's going to assume that kind of power over you. But those that has not been educated doesn't understand the concept of civilization principles. You understand what I'm saying? Civilization principles. Without education, you don't know understand what I'm talking about. In history, world history, and law, between de facto law and de jure law. What feudal law is. Feudal law is fraud law. Okay. Now, whenever you hear a politician start talking about, whenever he says to you that this is a democracy, this is a democracy. Whenever you hear a politician says this is a democracy, then you should know that he's part of a secret society that wants to keep you in darkness. He's a corporate slaveholder. He wants to undermine the republic form of government. Now, when I say the republic form, I'm talking about the Moors who set the republic form of government up and wrote the Constitution. Okay, when you hear the corporate fraud Europeans say Democrats and Republic, that's fraud. We're talking about. He's not talking about. He's talking about some democracy somewhere that don't exist, which is feudal, defective. All right. So when you hear anytime you hear politicians say this is a democracy, right then you should understand that's a code word for undermining the republic form of government which was set up by the Moors and undermining the Constitution and also the peace treaty. These people are fraud, but if you don't know any better, he's going to take advantage of you. All right? Islam, I self-law and master. Okay? Now, when you hear the word democracy, democracy is defraud, it's dismayed, it's demonic, it's disillusion, it's distrusting, it's demon, defaulting, demise and demise, deceptive, deception, all these terms dealing with negative input on your life. Okay, that's what democracy really is. To deceive your mind on what reality really is. Okay, so I'm gonna go to what these people are doing to take money out of your pocket, to keep you mentally enslaved with law. All right, we're gonna talk about right now racketeering. Okay, racketeering. Now listen to this. Racketeering is a person who makes money by violation of racketeering laws. Racketeering is an organized conspiracy to commit the crimes of extortion or cohesion or attempts to commit extortion or cohesion. From the standpoint of extortion, it is the obtaining of money or property from another without his consent. Include induced by the wrongful use of force or fear, the fear which constitutes the legal necessary element in extortion, is induced by oral or written threats to do an unlawful injury to the property of the threatened person by means of explosive, fire, or otherwise, or to kill, kidnap, or injure him or a relative of his or someone or some member of his family. Activities of organized criminals who extort money from legislative business by violence or other forms of threats or intimidation or conduct of illegal enterprise such as gambling, other illegal crimes that they do to extort. Now, what is illegal when they're talking about extortion? When they extort money out of you when you're paying tickets, when you're paying taxes on your home, or if you're sovereign to the land and you know who you are. If you find out who you are, then you'll find out who they are. Once you get knowledge of self, when you get knowledge of self, you'll find out who they are. You'll find out in history who they are. You'll find out in history who you are. You understand me? So, when they get you to pay taxes on your own home that you think you bought, that's extortion. When they get you to pay tickets for driving your car, that's extortion. When they get you to pay tickets for walking against the law, walking across the road, that's extortion. When they get you in jail on some colorable artificiality law, and they lock you up, you've been kidnapped, then they tell you got to be on probation, and you got to pay them $1,500, $2,000 Federal Reserve notes. That's extortion, because these organized criminals are criminals. They can't come over here to your land and enforce law. You can't enforce law here unless you're sovereign to the land. These Europeans are not sovereign to the land, but you give them sovereignty when you call them white and call yourself black. You just gave them sovereign power of life and death over you. Stop doing it. Stop telling your child that he's black and that the European is white. Tell your child that he's Moorish American. He's a Moor. His history is based in history. Get back past the 1200s and go on back. You'll find out that all your history was based in history. But you've been socially engineered with saying Black History Month. When they say to you, this is African American history, or this is a Black Museum of History, or this is African American Museum, this part belongs to African Americans. This is what the African American did in Black history. This is called social engineering, to get you to start saying it to yourself, to get you out of the concept of who you are, because they stole your birthright. When you start saying these things, they stole your birthright, your inheritance. Now, you can never receive inheritance by calling yourself black, Negro, or colored, African American, or even Christian. You just verbally gave your birthright away unto him. But if you would claim your nationality, your sovereignty, your inalienable right, your birthright, then you would stop calling yourself these derogatory terms which dilutes you to a slave labor, dilutes you to slavery. But then, when they get you to pay tickets and all this stuff, get you to pay taxes. You can't take them to court and with genocide or extortion. You can't do it because you're telling the world that you're a slave. But if you were claiming nationality, then you will have to uphold the Constitution, the peace treaty. You understand me? Even though the republic form of government was overthrown, but we're still here. If you look on the back of the dollar, the pyramid, that's your seal for the republic form of government. Just silent because we're silent. But we're still here. Now, if you would understand the laws of the land, not the laws of the corporation, the laws of the land. Remember, if you dark-skinned, with broad nose, full lip, with woolly curly hair, you're the only one that can walk around with a nationality card here. And you can create one yourself or go to the Moorish Science Temple and claim one, tell them the world is part of a nation. Alright? The European, he can't get a nationality card here. He has to go back to Europe somewhere, whether it's Greece, Ireland, Germany, France, Scotland, Italy, Spain. He got to go there to get his nationality card. He can't get it here. And he can only be there with and be sovereign. He can't be sovereign here. So you need to understand who you are and understand that this is our land and that we didn't come over here on no slave boat. And if you don't understand this, if you don't start claiming this, when you hear a European call itself white, you need to check him immediately. When you hear a European say this is democracy, check him immediately. You understand me? So when you hear a European call you black, you need to check that immediately, especially the ones in law, because they're not looking at your complexion or your description. They're looking at you and status quo to take you out of your birthright, to steal your nationality, to steal your land, to get you to pay taxes. Remember, the deed is sharecropping. If you sign a deed, if you go and you sign it, if you sign it and your Moorish nationality birthright name, and you claim it, you don't have to pay nothing on that. You go get that, that's yours. You understand me? But as long as you under the delusion that this man is doing you a favor by letting you take upon a mortgage if he's only some money, you just contracted yourself into paying him money when you don't have to pay him money. But if you don't have the knowledge of this, then you won't know. It's extortion. It's racketeering. And that's what these colorable artificiality courts are doing today, is racketeering. They're billing municipalities and empires on tickets, on insurance. You're paying all these things. And remember, when you go into a court, a public defender, if you go in there on a ticket or something, a public defender cannot even uphold law. Unless she has to have a delegation of authority order, or he has to have nationality card and the Constitution. They can't hold none of that. And if you was to be charged with fighting someone, physically harming someone, or robbing someone, then you need to tell them you need to go to a federal court. You need to go to a District 3 court where there's a federal judge. You need to go to international court. You can't go to the municipalities of these courts because they're on a railroad. You understand me? And then when you get to that court and you tell them you want to go to trial, there's got to be a judge, someone that looks like you. And it's got to be, and if you're going to go put 12 in a box, it's got to be 12 people that look like you. And they must know the law. That's why I say when you go to these municipality court, they just pick up any 12 people in there, put them in that box, and they don't even know the law. That's fraud. It's de facto. If you study the law, then you would know the difference between de jure law and de facto law. You would know the difference between allodial law and feudal law. You would know the difference between the process of law and the form of law. If you study. You should study this. And if you don't learn it from me, go learn it from the Moorish Science Temple of America. They know a lot more than what I do. Go there and learn for yourself. If you don't believe me, go learn it for yourself. You understand me? And stop extortion and the racketeering that's going on in your life. Stop it from taking money out of your pocket, stealing your lunch money. instilling whatever you need, the money you may have educated your children with. But until you do that, you will continue to pay this man in your own land. And he's a foreigner. But if you call yourself African American, Negro, color, Christian, then you become the foreigner. That's why he can use racketeering laws on you. That's why he had ordinance codes and municipalities, these courts, regulations that they can use, statutes against you. This is what you're going to continue to go through until you claim your birthright and your nationality, like Noble Drew Ali said. Come all Asiatic of North America and hear the truth about your nationality and your birthright. Give it to your children. I, self-law, am master. I'm out.